Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's a beautiful day today. Hope you are good wherever you are. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. It means a lot. Thank you and God bless you. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you 2 ways to cut a full circle dress. And here I have 2.5 yards of fabric here, folded into 2. This is it. So if you want it to be very full, you can go with 3 yards or 3 yards above. That will make it very full. So I just fold it into 2 this way. This is the folded part, placing it towards the down part. This side is unfold, this side is unfold, this side too is unfold. This is the only side that is folded. The first method, you want the circle to be very full. After folding into 2 this way, you have to fold triangularly this way, right? So for example, now for beginners, I will just demonstrate how you can get this easily. So here I have, just as I mentioned, 2.5 yards fabric folded into 2. Now my folded part is on this down part. Now you can actually mark it this way. This folded part, the upper part of this side, I will mark it as A, while I will mark this side B. Then this other edge, I will mark it as C and D. So this side that is A, I'm going to hold it this way. I will hold it this way. And this side that is B, I will also hold it this way. So this is my A and this is my B. This other side is C and this other side is D. So I will carry my B, right, to meet with my C this way. So in that way, you're already folding it triangularly this way, right? So this is it, and you will have it this way. So this is a triangle fold, or some people call it scarf cut, right? So you fold it this way. So with this method now, you have full neck for the circle gown, right? This will be very full. The next thing to do is to go ahead to measure your shoulder measurement. Now you start from here, this part that looks like triangle. So you start from here, you measure your shoulder divided by 2. So for instance, my shoulder is divided by 2 plus half an inch for seam allowance. For the sleeve, joining back the sleeve is 8 inches. So I will just start somewhere here where I have 8 inches, and which is this. So you just mark it this way. This is it here. Then the next thing to do now, from this part now, you come down for your shoulder slope. I'll be using 1 inch, which is here. Then your neck width, can use the standard of 3 inches. Then remember, this fold that we have here, that means we are already folding. The fold is already contained for the back and for the front, right? This folding it this way, you already have your back and front in one place, right? So now I will mark the neck depth for the back and the neck depth for the front, which is the neck depth for the back, you can use 1 inch. For the front, you can use 3 inches, or depend on how you like it. Then you just connect from this neck width this way. The same method we use for our basic body pattern, right? You just connect it this way. Then from somewhere here, you just have to connect it down this way. You can see the way I slant my hand, right? So just connect it down this way. So with this now, this is our slope. You connect the slope to meet this neck width, right? Then you measure down this way, 8 inches, same with the shoulder measurement, which is here. Then from this now, this will become your chest line. Then from here now, you measure your bust circumference divided by 4. Mine is 9.5, which is here. Then add your size seam allowance. If you want to add ease to it, you can go ahead and do that. So you just add your size seam allowance, which is here. Then the next thing to do is to get a long ruler and connect this straight to the edge of this, right? So you just get a long ruler this way and place it this way and just connect it straight down. Then to get the length of this gown, all you just need to do is to measure what you have. You place your tape rule starting from this shoulder width, right, the neck width. You place it down and measure what you have at this edge part. So what I have here is 37 inches. That means the full length of this gown, you can only achieve 37 inches. If you want it to be more full, is that you extend the yards that you fold, right? So now we have 37 inches. So you measure this 37 inches now. You measure it starting from here. You start this measurement starting from this neck width here, right? Starting from this shoulder, this guideline. You measure the 37 inches this way towards the side. Where the 37 inches is, you mark it. Then after you mark it, you place your tape rule again starting from this edge so that you have a complete fullness, right? You measure from this edge what you have to this where this mark is, which is here. We have 43 inches. So this 43 inches is what you use to round it this way, right? 43 inches, you use it to round it to this edge. You just mark it straight like this. With this way now, you just go ahead and cut you cut for the back first. You cut the neck there for the back, cut the slope, cut it this way. Then you also do your armhole, right? You measure the remaining part what you have here. You mark the midpoint, come in half an inch, then you connect it. You make your armhole curve here. Then you cut it out this way like this way, and following the curve at the length, right? Then in that way we remove the back first, then you come back to cut the front neck depth. Then after which you make your slit if you wish to put slit at the neck area. So that is for the full circle dress, right? Now the second method, what you need to do for the second method. So now our Ankara is still folded into two, right? And this is still my A, and this is still my B, and this other edge, this is still my C, and this is still my D. So what I'm going to do now, I'll hold my A this way, also my B this way. Now I'll carry this B to meet this part. Remember, this is still our C and this is still the D. So I carry this B to meet somewhere close to my D, right? So with this method now, you will not have it too full. Now you are trying to control the fullness of the dress now, right? And also this now will also give you more full length for the dress too. So instead of taking it straight this way, the way we fold it earlier, what I'm doing now is this way. I'm just placing it here. I'm not taking it to meet my C. I'm just going to place it somewhere here, right? So this now has already minimized the fullness of the circle. I don't want it to be too full. So this is the method I'm going to go with now. So with this method now, that's what I'm going to use to cut this fabric, right? So placing it this way, all I just need to do now is to start my measurement here. I will just need to measure, come somewhere here and mark my shoulder divided by 2 plus half an inch to join my sleeve. I'll mark it here and mark my armhole and go ahead. But for the sake of beginners too, I'm going to do that on a pattern paper. So here is my pattern paper. So I'm going to mark this place as my guideline, right? Then I'm going to measure my shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus half an inch to join my sleeve. So I'll be placing it somewhere here. Then I also come down this way for my shoulder. That's my shoulder measurement. So that's what I'm using here as my armhole length, which is 8 inches. Then I will make this in a straight line. So the length I have here is 10 inches. The person's chest is 9. I just added 1 inch to it. So because I don't want the circle slant to start at my chest, so I just add 1 inch to that. So now, after which I will mark my neck width of 3 inches. Neck depth for the front, I'll be using 3 inches for the front, while for the back I will use 0.75, which is here. Then I'll connect this. Right. Then I'll mark for my shoulder slope, which is 1 inch, and I'll connect this way. Then I'll mark what is remaining here, divide it by 2, which is 3.5. Then I'll come in 0.75. Then after that, I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4, which is for her is 9.75, which is here. Then I'll be adding 1.5 inches size seam, which is here. Then I'll connect this to this and to this. So this is it here. And the next thing to do, I'll be marking 1/2 inch up for my shoulder seam, right? This is it. Then I'll connect it this way. So I'll cut this out, then use it to cut on the material. So this is the pattern that we've already created now. So I'm going to be using this pattern now. I will place it on this fabric that we've already folded, right? And remember that we are cutting for the back and front, right? And I will make sure that this is equal here too. So I will place it this way. Make sure that this part is aligned, right? So I'm going to pin it down. So now after pinning it here, so the next thing to do now, I'm going to determine the length. So I will place my tape rule starting from this, my shoulder neck width, right? I will not include the shoulder seam. I'm not going to include that. I'm just going to place it exactly this, my guideline, right? Then I will measure towards this edge first and see what I have. So there I have 41 inches. So this is the edge of it, which is 41 inches. So that means that I'm going to rotate this 41 inches now this way. So now I will rotate it and I will mark it, right? So I'll place it this way, then mark it with my chalk this way. So I've rotated this way now. This is the 41 inches, which is what I've marked this way. 41 inches. I'll be maintaining this, right? I'll maintain this, and I'll just be rotating this. So this is 41 inches. So that's what I have there. So now the next thing to do now is to connect this point now to meet this edge, right? And I'll be using my straight ruler. I'll place it this way. Connect. So this is it now. I've already connected it, right? Then the next thing to do now, I'm going to cut it off. So I'll start cutting it this way, cut it this way, cut it this way to the end. Then I'll remove the back, then cut the front neckline. So this is the gown. This length, I'm still going to add some pleats at this down part because the person wants it to be very long, at least below the knee, right? So we've already cut it now. So I'm going to remove this and remove one of these, then use the other one for the front, then cut the the neck depth. So this is for the front. This is for the front. You can see that the down part is full than when you cut a shape, right? And the other method, it will be more flat than this if you try that method too. So now I'm going to put this aside and bring it back. I'm going to having slits at this back. I'll make use of 4.5 inches slit at the back, so which is here. So now I'm going to slit this part now open. That fabric and cut facing for it, or use bias to turn it, right? But me, I'm going to add a collar. I'm going to add collar to this dress. This is for the back and this is for the front. So I'm just going to place them right side face each other. Then I'm going to go ahead to join the shoulders. I'll just sew it with my 1/2 inch seam allowance. Then I also join the side too with my 1.5 inches seam allowance on both sides. After which I will measure what I have round here. Then I will be tightening it by 2 to cut a long fabric. And I will pleat it small to sew it at that down part. I'm also going to add a pocket to the side here. I've already joined the shoulders, just as I've mentioned before, with my 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I've also sewed the side too with my 1.5 inch seam allowance, and I've also joined the pocket, right? So I just sew it this way, then start it from here, sew it this way. Then I've also hemmed the down part with, so I later use 3.5 inches. So this is what I have here, 2.5 inches. After hemming this other part and the 1/2 inch here, so I was left with 2.5 inches. I use 1 inch for the hemming part and 1/2 inch to join it at this other part. What I have, 2.5 inches. I needed to manage the 3 yards. The fabric was not even up to 3 yards, right? So I needed to manage that, so I was not able to have my complete 6 inches length, but this is okay for the length, right? Then for the back side, I've also used bias to turn the slit that I open at the back side, right? So now what is remaining is to cut my sleeve, and I'm also going to do that off camera. I'm going to be cutting the basic sleeve, right? So I'll just measure this armhole round, use it to cut my basic sleeve. Then I mentioned that I'm going to fix collar to the neck part. I'm going to be fixing 2 picked collar to this neck part. So I'm just going to go ahead to cut that. I have video on that already. One of my last video, we made that collar with one of those dresses that we make, right? So I'll be dropping the link to that, so you can look out for that on the channel on how I'm going to cut the collar. But I'm going to do that off camera with the sleeve as well. So this is my basic sleeve that I've already cut now, so I'm just going to attach it to the armhole area. And here is the collar, right? So I've already sewed this collar now. All I need to do now is that I'll open it up this way. So I'll open it up. This is the front part. I've already notched the center front here, and I've also notched the center front of my collar. So I'll be placing it right side face each other this way. Then I'm going to sew it round. Then after which, top stitch on it. Then I'll come and show you the final look of this gown. So that's all for this video. And this was the end result, guys. I added to the length of my sleeve and I used a different fabric for the collar. I also make a fabric belt for the dress to control the fullness. Thanks so much for watching my videos. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in my next one. Bye.